Good morning and welcome to StudyIQ. I am Prashant Mavani. I hope you all are doing good, my dear friends. The first and the most important item that we find in today's editorial page is Clemency question. This editorial is based on a news item that was printed on the first page of the Hindu yesterday, and it is about this conspirators this murderers who killed our former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi ji. Now, they are behind the bars for some 27 years now, and the government of Tamil Nadu wants to release them. So, there are many questions, right? Clemency question, whether they should be allowed to walk free or not, 27 years. Is it enough or not? There are many questions that we can ask ourselves as well as government, or the society can ask whether 27 years is enough, should we let them go or no, etc. But here we are concerned with some technicalities, and I believe that this is the first time when I say first time, I mean to say in recent past, when this whole issue became an important current affair. After that, this is the first time we are finding one editorial on this thing as far as the Hindu newspaper is concerned, and I'm sure in near future we are going to find some more articles written on this particular topic. So before we move ahead and before we analyze this whole article, let's build a strong base. I would like you guys to understand this terminologies that you find with the clemency. Clemency basically means mercy, to let go someone. So this is what clemency is all about. And when we talk about clemency in terms of constitution, we are talking about these powers that are given to president as well as governors, to pardon someone and to soften someone's imprisonment and things like that. So let's start with pardon. Pardon basically means, and here we are not talking about social pardon, we are talking about pardon as defined in the constitution of our nation. So pardon means it removes both the sentence as well as the conviction. So if president pardons someone, right, then that person is free. That person means he or she, they don't need to be behind the bars. Whatever they have done, everything is over now. They are as clean as you and I. So this is what pardon is all about. Everything is over, your crime, everything, government will forget everything. You can have a new start. The second one is commutation. Commutation means a substitution of one form of punishment for a lighter form. Now here, remember, it should always be a sort of lighter one. So if you are, say for example, death penalty is given to you, awarded to you, then under this commutation, it can be converted into a life imprisonment. If you are already given, early on, the main, you can say, punishment was life imprisonment. In this as well, you have two. One is hard punishment, that you have to do hard labor work and things like that. And the other one is a softer one. So if you are going through this hard life imprisonment, or so then that can be converted into, or can be made into a sort of bit more softer version of this punishment. Then you have this remission. It implies reducing the period. It is associated with time. So if you are awarded 10 years of imprisonment, then this can be you can say chopped to maybe 5 years or 8 years, depends on the case. And then you have respite. Respite is given in special cases, like if someone is pregnant or if someone is physically not able, then respite will be given. Sentence can be shortened and things like that. And then you have reprieve. Reprieve is particularly for death sentence, right? So if someone is awarded a death sentence by the court, then president can all these governors and president, they can stay this execution for time being. And one of the main reason for stopping or staying this execution is to give a little bit of extra time for the person, for the convicted person, so that he or she can at least have some time to seek this pardon or commutation from the president. So these are various different you can say technicalities associated with this terminologies. And now let's move ahead. I'm sure now things are clear to you. So now let's crack on to this clemency question. So before we move ahead, let me again take you through constitution. You have president as well as you have governors, isn't it, in our country? So the main difference between this clemency powers that are given to president as well as governors is that a president can pardon, reprieve, respite, remit, suspend or commute the punishment or the sentence of any person convicted of any offense against a central law. Right? Remember this thing, that the president can take a stand on an item that, or a person who has done something wrong against a central law. Right? Central law is the key word here. With governor, everything is same here. Here, the only difference is state law. And the reason why I'm explaining this thing to you is because this Tamil Nadu case, right? The Tamil Nadu government has decided to invoke this governor's clemency power, that is 161 or article 161. Under this article you find this clemency powers of governors and the things associated with it. Now back in 2014, Supreme Court has said this thing, that just in case if some sort of consultation is going on between central government and state government regarding a particular case about this clemency, then it's very important to note that if a matter, if it's in consultation between central and state, then central government's final say, right? If central government is saying that yes, this people, this 7 you can say convicts who are behind the bar for some 27 years, they should be released, then even if state government is saying no, then they have to, state governments, they have to follow central government. And if central government is saying no, and if state government or state governments are saying yes, then as well they have to go with the no. So I hope this thing is clear. This was explained by, you can say, said by Supreme Court back in 2014. Now there are a few experts who are saying that as far as this particular case is concerned, this case of this Rajiv Gandhi's murder case is concerned, then it's a matter of CBI, Central Bureau of Investigation, and you know it very well that it is the central government that looks after this Central Bureau of Investigation. So this prosecution, right, this whole thing is not coming under the domain of a state government. So ultimately this is what analysts, experts in law and other fields, that's what they are saying. So I am providing you a nutshell or gist of what they are saying. So because it is a CBI case, so it's going to be a bit difficult, for this Tamil Nadu government to win this whole argument or this whole case. There's no case going on, but I'm saying that this whole matter or this argument. Now the second point, as far as this difference between president and governors clemency power, and very important one, this one, right? President is the only authority, right? The only authority in our country that has this authority to pardon a death sentence. That means if X is given death sentence, then as well, if a president thinks that X should, walk free, then president can sign a sort of letter and X can be freed from everything, right? He or she will not have to stay behind the bar. Right from that jail, X can walk out free. Just he or she will be as free as you and I. But a governor cannot pardon a death sentence. What governor can do is, governor can at least, if someone is on death penalty, then that can be softened. It can be made into or converted into life imprisonment. So remember this thing here. Right, this is something that is very important. This is a very big difference between president and governor. And one more thing, that as far as this military court and punishments that are given out by military courts are concerned, then this can be pardon, reprieve, respite, suspension or remission or commutation can be done by the president of our country only, because I'm sure you have heard this thing somewhere, or if you observe, president of our country, you'll observe in various different functions, you will find some uniformed guys, right, will be around our president. That means that this also means, or this is an indication that he is the supreme commander. President is the supreme commander of our defense forces. It's not the prime minister. The supreme commander is president. So This is one of the reasons why you find that in case anything is going on with the military court, then it is the president and governor cannot do anything about it. So I hope these things are clear to you. A solid base is sorted out, or we have built a solid base so far. Now, as you can see, we have discussed these things yesterday as well. I have added a new picture. If you can observe here, right, this is a new picture here. I have got some names of key conspirators. Now, the thing is, the central government, back in April 2018, central government has clearly stated this thing to Tamil Nadu government that this is a very dangerous path that we are trading on. This is not going to be that easy, because if you are allowing someone who has killed our former prime minister, and if you let them go, then this can have a very dangerous results, as well as it is going to dent our image, and it's going to have some international ramifications as well. That's what central government said back in April 2018. Now, Supreme Court has in the past cautioned as well that if you are taking this sort of decisions, then you have to make sure that these decisions are not based on your political calculations, right? It should be based on reality, on justice, right? And this trust that is given, or the trust and responsibility that is placed on you by constitution. So you should fulfill it. There should not be any sort of political agenda behind it. And one more thing that I would like to add here is that as far as president's decision is concerned, pardon decision, or all these things that we have discussed, most of the times, you can say that president's decision will not be challenged, or in fact the Supreme Court has also said that means you cannot question president's decision and things like that. This has been said by Supreme Court. But if a particular decision is taken by president, if it's quite logical to see that is a very wrong decision as far as this clemency powers are concerned, then Supreme Court can take a stand. But again, I'm saying it just for your understanding. You don't have to go this deep. But decision of governor, right, are subject to judicial review. So if courts, High Court or Supreme Court, if it finds that something is wrong with this, or if High Court and Supreme Court are not happy with this decision of clemency taken by governor, then they can, of course, they can review it. They can go through the whole thing. So this is a thing that you need to keep in your mind. Now, there are a few questions that we need to ask ourselves as a society, as a country, as a state, as a central government, that what about those 4 Sri Lankan nationals? Are we going to send them back, or they are going to stay here in our country? Third question is, why should we let all of them go in one shot? Why we are taking it as a one case, and why we are not evaluating the whole thing case by case? And the fourth question that I would like to raise here is that, when it comes to death penalty, people are, of course, not happy with death penalty. And there are people out there, they argue, and to some extent they are right as well, that we cannot give life. So we don't have right to take life as well. So a person, if someone has done heinous crime, then that person should be, kept behind the bars for forever. But now when someone is, that's what happened in this case, that there were a few guys who were given this death penalty, then this was softened into a sort of life imprisonment, and now they are, we are talking about releasing them. So this can also trigger this, demand that in future people will say that it's better to hang these people, to kill these people, execute them. Not killing is not the right word, but execution is the right word, because there is a technicality here as well. So it's better to execute them rather than throwing them behind the bars, because if you don't execute them, then in future they can walk free, So this can create a demand for death penalty in society, which is, of course, not a sort of healthy sign. So that's everything with this this item here, this topic here. I'm sure we have discussed many things, and I'm sure many things are clear to you as well. Now, with this, dear friends, if you are preparing for defense services, then let me tell you that we have got a special pen drive and tablet courses for defense exams as well. Check out StudyIQ.com to find out more about it. With this, this is my Facebook page here. This is my Twitter handle here. You can download the PDF of today's lecture from both these places. Of course, you can get it from my Telegram channel as well. Now, dear friends, I would like to have a word with you guys regarding sharing this lecture as well as PDF files. As you know that we do, and I particularly on regular basis, I do say that I do share it, but I know this thing as well, that this is how human mind or human behavior works. We leave things on someone else. If someone is sharing something, then you will say that, okay, that guy is sharing it, so that's fine, I'm not doing it, right? Or you don't do it. This is how we behave. I do understand this thing, but I just want to remind you guys that if you are benefiting out of this discussion, right, then there are so many students out there, they too require this sort of, I'm not saying that I am the best, but if you genuinely believe that this is helping you on regular basis, then it can help someone else as well. Now, as an individual, I cannot, take this thing to them, but at least you guys can help all of us, to build this thing that quality education is given to each and or is have access. Students can have access to quality education. So please do think about it. This is the reason. It's you may take it lightly, but I cannot, because I do get messages on regular basis. There are so many students, they don't know whether this is available both in Hindi and English. And if you guys are knowing about it, then I give you this freedom. You take a stand, right? I give you freedom that if you have an answer, then please respond, right? Please note it down. I want it to be more interactive. I want you guys to take a leadership role, right? So that's everything. Now let's move on to another item. This is about cause for caution. It's about just GDP growth expansion. Now, recently we have gone through this thing, but again, for the benefit of new students, I'm going to explain it again very briefly as possible. So recent figures indicate that our first quarter of this year, that is 2018-19, first quarter means we are talking about April to June. So quarter means 25%. So 12 months in a year, 25% of 12 months is 3 months. So April to June GDP growth rate was 8.2%, which is not bad, isn't it? It's a very good thing. At the same time, what we have observed is depreciating rupee. That means dollar is getting more expensive and rupee is falling down. So impact on import and export very quickly. Imagine that earlier on 1 rupee or 50 rupee was equal to $1. So if you are purchasing something, that means if you are purchasing something from international market, right, if you are buying something, say for example a pen or something, then you are paying $1 for 1 pen. So earlier on you used to spend 50 rupees to purchase a pen from America, for example. Now if you want to sell something, or now let's finish this example. Now let's consider that rupee value has gone down. It's 60 rupees now to $1. So clearly dollar is strong compared to rupee here. So for the same pen that you used to pay 50 rupees, now you will be paying 60 rupees. So more money is going out from your pocket. Now let's reverse this situation, right? When we say reverse this situation, earlier on, the money was 50 rupees, this value was 50 rupees, and you used to get if you used to sell items, in international market, then you used to get, if you are selling something for a pen for $1, then you used to get 50 rupees. But now the value of rupee, has depreciated, so it is 60 rupees now compared to $1. So now what you are getting is here, it should be dollar sign, isn't it? Yep. So now you are selling 1 pen in international market and you are getting 60 rupees. So if money is, is depreciating or appreciating, then this is the thing, it will have positive as well as negative impact. It depends which side we are going, right? If it is appreciating, then it's going to be better for exporters, isn't it? But if it is if it is depreciating, then it's going to be better for these exporters, because they will be getting more rupees per dollar. But if it is depreciating, then it is going to be beneficial for this importers, isn't it? So this is how it works. So this is a challenge here. Of course, depreciating rupee is a challenge for us. Then NPAs, that is non-performing assets. If more NPAs we have on bank's book or on their accounts, that means bank will have less money to share or less money to give out as a loan. So they have to first of all recover the loss that they have made from this NPAs, and at the same time they have to create profits and things like that. So expenses will go up, or you can say, what we can say is basically that interest rate will go up. Bank, this is, I'm giving you very basic example. Of course there are various different ways to do this thing, but interest rate will be raised a little bit so that you can generate a little bit extra amount of interest or profit, and this can be used to run your business. So when loans become expensive, people will get bit demotivated to get a loan. This is how it works, right? If loan rate or if interest rate on loan becomes expensive or dearer, then less people will go for a loan. And if people, or particularly if business entrepreneurs, if they are not going out there and if they are not getting easy credit at cheaper rate, that means they are not going to invest that money in market. So if investment falls down, that means new businesses will not be created, new jobs will not be created. So it's going to, this is a ripple effect of this NPA and interest rate and things like that. Then trade deficit, that means we are importing more and exporting less. Exporting less means producing less, again less job, less investment, things like that. Fuel prices, when they go up, they hit inflation, and inflation, a general price rise of all items. So from your newspaper to everything, right, will become a bit expensive. Now couple of days ago we saw this picture, isn't it? Remember, I have shared this picture with you guys. It was in financial news item section. So we talked about this V growth. Now this whole growth that we see is because of this low base. Low base means, how it works in economy is, say for example, if today we are in September, right, September 2018. So at the end of September we will get some figures about September, how the performance was, and we will compare this thing with September 2017, and then we will see like how better we are compared to last year. So when you compare our past situation, recent past situation, then things were a bit bad, isn't it? After demonetization and all these things, then we had this GST introduction. So things were a bit down. This economy was a little bit slow because it went through these two shocks. So naturally, right, if you have a bit of valley here, then of course this, if then you are going up, then it is going to look bit more, you can say it will have this statistical effect, isn't it? It will look bit more better or charming. So this 8.2 is not something that is going on for a very long period of time. It is because the same period last time things were very bad. So this time it looks bit good. So this is a thing as well, that is reality. Then we have seen that manufacturing has done well, agriculture has done well, job generation is reasonably all right, but service sector is not performing that well, and money is coming out in the market because of government salary, pension hikes and all these things, is pumping money in the pockets of these employees. And now if they are getting 5,000, 6,000 rupees extra, for example, then they are going to, this is how human beings work, when they get extra money, they will start buying things here and there. So because of all these things, this money coming in or in the pockets of these people via pension or DNS allowance or other things, what is happening is that consumption has gone up, and because of this growth 8.2 that we have registered, it's more because of consumption. It's not because of investment. Consumption led growth is not that bad, but still it's not a long-term solution. For short term it can give you a big boost, but a long-term solution we can find it. If we have both, that's good, right? There is no harm in it, but just consumption is not going to help us. Investment should be there as well. So if more investment is done, and if we are registering a growth based on investment, then that's a healthy sign. So we should not be carried away by this 8.2. We need to work hard. We need some more proactive policy push. Dear friends, as far as items are concerned, right, these two items we have gone through, two most important items. This one is about tennis, not important. This one is about tennis, not important. This one is about a political party, not important. As far as your exams are concerned, if you are free, if you like reading, political items. Tennis, if you're a fan follower, then go ahead. I'm not stopping you guys. But if you are just for examination, then you can drop this one. You can drop this one as well. And I have this article is about Kerala. I'm sure we have talked about, when I say I'm sure, I mean to say that regular students, I'm sure that you know exactly what's going on in Kerala. As far as these floods are concerned, you know Kasturi Rangan committee report, you know this Madhav Gadgil committee report as well. You know what is Western Ghat, you know how it is, why it is important, biodiversity hotspot, and we have talked about reptile species that you find here and other species that you find here, and so many things, monsoon and southwest monsoon. So if you are new, if it is your first or second day or just a week, then what I will reckon is check out 25th August 2018's the Hindu analysis, either in Hindi and English both, right? And you can check out 26th as well. I have talked about it in not that in depth in 26th, but in 25th, yes, we have talked about it in detail. And there are a few more dates on which we have talked about this Kerala issue. So if you are new, then help yourself with it. And dear friends, other students, regular students, if you know the date, then please do share it in the comment section as well with other students, if just in case if you find any query from new students or your new co-aspirants. Then we have this India-China relationship. It is more about Atal Bihari Vajpayee's visit, and it's basically talking about how Atal Bihari Vajpayee was, how he sorted out all these issues. But out of this article, I have got a couple of items that may help you. So India-China war took place back in 1962. Remember this thing. Now Vajpayee ji, for the first time, visited China. Means the first time in the sense is he was part of this political delegation, high-level delegation to China in 1979, and at that point of time he had a meeting with this Deng Xiaoping, and they talked about India-China relationship. At that point of time, he was not that big leader. He was a big leader, but he was not that, you know, at present he is big, grand, isn't it? He was prime minister. At 1979, he was not a prime minister. So they talked about this border issue. You can see this whole border here, right? Jammu and Kashmir. Then you have Kashmir occupied, Pakistan occupied Kashmir. Then you have this area that Pakistan has given to China. Then you have this Arunachal Pradesh area, McMahon Line dispute, and everything. So help yourself with this one. Let me take you through most and last important item that we find here. It was back in 2003 that this Tibetan region, when Atal Bihari Vajpayee was Prime Minister, when he visited China back in 2003, we said that yes, we accept it, that this Tibet's autonomous region belongs to China. And this Chinese side recognized Sikkim as a state of Indian Union. And basically, Atal Bihari Vajpayee believed that, this sort of soft strategy, building relationship, is a way to solve all our problems, and he was right as well. With this, dear friends, let's move on to latest news items. The first one is about Supreme Court pause to judge on Babri Masjid case trial deadline. A judge has given a trial deadline. He has said that he is going to sort out all this issue before April, somewhere around April 2019. So Supreme Court has asked that how can you have just given a fake date. It means that's not possible. The other thing is, Delhi government has launched this doorstep delivery of government services, driving license, marriage registration, all these things. So I'm sure if I'm sure this will pick up, because technology is such a wonderful tool that we have. If we use it positively, then we can change the way things are going on in our society. So I'm sure it will succeed, and this will be replicated, or it will be implemented in different parts of our country as well. Our foreign minister is in Kabul for a trilateral meeting preparation. He's there for creating this groundwork for our big meeting on Chabahar that is going to take place in near future. India is asking for trade deal due to our tough policies, has been claimed by Mr. Trump. He has said that India was being a bit soft with the USA because USA has been absolutely tough in its decision. It has been absolutely clear. This is a claim claim coming from Mr. Trump. And then you have this new law, the Performing Animals Registration Rules 2001, more stringent rules Of course, it's positive as well as negative. Both sides you have, right? The positive side is that it's going to be a bit friendly for a bit more humane, if I can say, for all those animals who are used in this film shootings. But it's going to impact ease of doing business as well, because before a month or something you have to take permission and all these things. So it's going to be in that way. It's going to hurt all those people who are supplying horses and other animals whose bread and butter is basically based on supply of these animals for shooting purposes. When I say shooting, I mean to say film shooting, right? We are not talking about that gun shooting. With this, dear friends, you can see here Hurricane Florence is heading towards USA. So follow this news item, right? I'm not saying that you get update every 1 hour, but at least you should be with it, this news item. It's important. And if you're preparing for geography or something, if you're reading as your self-study, then do help yourself with this. What is the difference between tropical this depression, and difference between hurricane and cyclone and typhoon and all these things, all right? So these are items that are important. Here you have vocabulary for you guys, right? You guys are from English medium background, so I don't need to explain this thing. You can of course read and understand it, so help yourself with that thing. Yesterday's question on map, the answer is quiz. This map based quiz answer is South Sudan. Most of you have got it right. And today I have this one for you. I'll give you a small hint here. That's it, right? It is a country of Africa. That's it. Now nothing more I can say about it. And 2 answers, Saudi Arabia and Sridharan Committee, and 3 questions for you guys. So this one, and can you give me the name of the country, or this flag belongs to which country? That's your question. Again, I will request you guys that you guys are brand ambassador of this video, so please make sure that you are sharing it with other students as well, not just for today but on regular basis. Thank you very much for your support and love. God bless you all. Jai Hind.